Good morning. So now we go. So now we move on to examine the items of our agenda. And before we start, I would like to give the floor to India. Please, floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair. At the beginning of the day, I would wish to convey on behalf of the Indian delegation, and I believe on behalf of the members of the committee and the many other member states, delegations, experts who are here, our deepest appreciation, our profound appreciation for the wonderful reception organized last evening by the Russian Federation, by the authorities of St. Petersburg, and I'm sure by many other people. To us, we stand rejuvenated after days, many days, long days. Thank you very much, and I hope that all the fireworks in St. Petersburg were exhausted last night, and there will be none at the committee now. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. Now you see how difficult object is St. Petersburg. It's not only center, but can you imagine how many kilometers from the center is a part of this, big World Heritage Site. So now we move on to the Alto Douro wine region, Portugal, requested by France. So it's 36.7b.81 document WHC 12/36.com/7b. So now I would like to give the floor to the representative of World Heritage Center. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The draft decision for this State of Conservation report is to be found on page 146 for the English version and page 154 for the French version. The World Heritage Center can report on some correspondence and exchanges with the State Party which have taken place after the document, the State of Conservation report, was distributed on the 11th of May. On the 16th of May, the State Party sent a letter which reiterated its request that a mission be carried to the property as soon as possible. And on 15th of May, representatives of the State Party met with the director of the World Heritage Center and discussed issues related to the State of Conservation report, particularly highlighting their reasons for requesting not halting the construction work on the dam before the mission. On the 15th of June, the State Party also informally proposed 3 options for mission dates during the coming months in July and August. I would like to confirm that the World Heritage Center and advisory bodies have taken note of these dates, and if the committee so decides, we shall agree on a date as soon as possible for a reactive monitoring mission. The World Heritage, we would like to point out that the site, the property has, and the state of conservation of the property has been broadly covered by national local press, and we have observed that since the dispatch of the document. I would also point out that numerous non-governmental organizations have contacted the World Heritage Center expressing their concerns about the impact of the dam. This information has been shared with the State Party. Thank you, Madam Chair. That's all the information that the World Heritage Center needed to present.
Thank you very much. ICOMOS, do you have something to add? The floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The issues we are discussing are about the potential impact of the dam project on the property in its buffer zone. the superstructure of the dam lies about 20 meters from the boundary of the property, and part of the dam's abutment, as well as spillways, are within the property, as also is the various electrical transportation systems. The visual simulations that we've been provided with clearly demonstrate the visual and ecological impact of the dam from within the property. Unfortunately, no landscape or heritage issues on World Heritage status were addressed by the environmental impact assessment that was carried out. But the advisory mission concluded that had an EIA being done in this way, it would have concluded that the dam would have adversely impacted on the property. Information on this project was communicated to the World Heritage Centre only in 2010, after most of the approvals were in position. Construction work started in April 2011 and is continuing. However, detailed construction plans have not yet been provided, but it is understood that in response to the concerns of the mission, the State Party is ready to revise the plans. In order to allow the State Party to consider and supply amended plans, which then can be considered by a joint UNESCO ICOMOS reactive monitoring mission, this will be undertaken as soon as possible, as you read from your documents, hopefully within the next 2 months, and will include appropriate specialists such as a dam engineer and landscape specialists. The mission can consider the potential impact of the revised plans on the outstanding universal value of the property. ICOMOS stands ready and willing to take part in this urgent mission and to discuss all possible options with the State Party. Thank you.
Thank you very much. As I understand, we have some amendments received from France. Yes? And before that, before you announce this amendment, I would like to give the floor to France.
Merci beaucoup, Madame la Présidente. Il me semble qu'on est exactement dans la continuité des débats d'hier, dans la réflexion que vous avez vous-même soulignée, pour instaurer une démarche qui prenne en compte à la fois la double exigence de la préservation de la valeur universelle d'un bien et le développement des énergies durables. On est aussi, l'ambassadeur de l'Inde avait aussi bien remarqué que nous étions au cœur d'un débat central pour tous nos débats, et je crois que d'ailleurs qu'il est rentré dans l'histoire des débats de l'UNESCO en faisant remarquer que s'il y avait eu trop de contraintes, la Tour Eiffel n'aurait jamais été bâtie. Alors pour revenir à la région viticole du Haut-Douro, le projet de décision concernant cette région demande la suspension des travaux d'un barrage qui est en cours de construction dans la zone tampon. 3 hectares seulement sont concernés sur 25 000 hectares au total. En avril 2011, une mission de l'ICOMOS a eu lieu sur le bien, comme nous venons de le constater. Dans ce cadre, le Portugal a transmis au Centre du patrimoine mondial de nombreuses informations sur ce projet de barrage. Le projet de décision actuel, me semble-t-il, ne prend pas totalement en compte ni vraiment les informations qui ont été transmises au Centre du patrimoine mondial, ni les évolutions significatives du projet ayant eu lieu depuis la mission de 2011. C'est pourquoi nous souhaitons qu'il y ait une mise en débat et nous voudrions poser quelques questions au Portugal, 3 questions. La première, c'est quels critères de la valeur universelle exceptionnelle du bien pourraient être potentiellement affectés par le projet du barrage? Je crois que c'est une question essentielle. Ensuite, quels sont les changements substantiels du projet? Et enfin, en quoi le projet de barrage contribue-t-il au développement durable des territoires et des populations locales? Je vous remercie.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Now I give the floor to Mexico. The floor is yours.
Muy buenos días, señora presidenta. Buenos días, miembros del comité. Quisiera abordar 2 reflexiones una de carácter general y una de carácter puntual sobre este tema de la conservación de la región vitícola del Alto Duero. Me recuerdo muy bien que en la sesión de Helsinki en 2001 fue inscrito este bien en la lista. Lo tengo muy presente porque la reunión fue en invierno en una ciudad cercana aquí en el Báltico. Una sesión extraordinariamente emotiva y lo traigo a la memoria porque en ese momento estaba en emergencia esta visión de inscribir los paisajes culturales productivos. Paisajes culturales productivos que ponen en relieve un nuevo valor del patrimonio y que enriquecen la lista del patrimonio mundial, pero que son enormemente frágiles y sensibles al cambio del tiempo. Y ahora lo vemos que después de una década, esta región de Portugal está presentando temas que son inherentes al desarrollo de la sociedad en su conjunto, a la creación de estas nuevas energías alternativas, como lo vimos en el caso del Mont Saint-Michel, con sus torres eólicas. Esta reflexión viene porque ahora tenemos una gran gama de paisajes culturales productivos que están sujetos a cambios permanentes. Y creo que el debate que se pueda dar hoy con el caso de las laderas del Alto Duero puede ser emblemático y puede ser también didáctico para ver hasta dónde se permiten algunos cambios y cuáles son las herramientas que nos indiquen o que nos den indicadores de cuáles son los umbrales de qué es lo permisible y qué no se puede ni siquiera prever. Y entonces, con esa reflexión de carácter general, me gustaría preguntarle al Estado parte, de acuerdo a todo el informe que nos ha sido provisto, tanto por el Estado como por los informes de los órganos consultivos y de la Secretaría, de saber si realmente algunas de las preguntas que se hacen en el proyecto de decisión ya han sido contestadas o han sido previstas por el plan, la puesta en aplicación del plan de gestión, para ver si esta puesta en aplicación mitiga o no atenta en contra del valor universal excepcional de este paisaje cultural. Entonces, pues quiero saber de manera muy clara que el Estado nos responda cómo ellos han puesto en aplicación estas ideas para que todo esté bajo control y no haya alguna amenaza posible en el futuro de todo este paisaje extraordinariamente que se remonta a 2 milenios, por lo menos en esa parte de la península ibérica. Muchas gracias, señora presidenta.
Thank you very much. Where is the delegation of Portugal? I would like to give the floor then for clarification. Sir, you have 1 minute. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. Madam Chairperson, let me start by thanking the committee for this opportunity to give my country to present his case. I am very grateful for the French delegation that has introduced this issue. Madam Chairperson, allow me in the beginning, in this minute, and before answering to the questions, that when the Alto Douro region was included in 2001 in the World Heritage List, there were already 3 dams in the River Douro. They were not an obstacle for the inclusion of the region on the World Heritage List. The River Douro has been a strategic river for the implementation of hydroelectrical projects in Portugal since the 19th century. The Tua Valley, which we are talking today, in which the new dam is to be built, has a very different landscape on the other areas. And this was the reason why it was not included in the area of the property, unlike other 5 river valleys which are part of it. Unlike the other areas, the Tua Valley has no vineyards, no terraces, does not belong to the historical demarcated area. This is why it was never envisaged to include it in the wine region. So, directly answer to the questions. I must say that last year's mission of the ICOMOS presented a lot of problems. We tried to address them in a letter, in a complete letter that was sent later on to the organization. We insisted that many of the changes which has been introduced in the project are not still taken into account in the draft resolution, and that's why we asked twice for a reactive mission to take place as soon as possible. This mission will take place until the end of July. I think that it would be reasonable that we could create a sort of a different approach than one it is mentioned in the draft resolution, that's say to stop immediately the work, and we are prepared to accept to reduce the pace of construction in order to guarantee, and that could be monitored, in order to guarantee that the new mission will take into account all the aspects of the new project which is underway. I think that we answer in this project to many of the concerns. Thank you, Madam Chairman.
Thank you very much. Now I give the floor to the delegation of Japan. Please, floor is yours.
Thank you, Chair. But my question is already answered by Portugal. Thank you.
Thank you. Colombia.
Gracias, señora presidenta. Creo que México ha expresado muy bien la posición de Colombia sobre los paisajes culturales. Nosotros tenemos el paisaje cultural cafetero, que igualmente es un paisaje vivo y que está expuesto a cambios. Entendiendo lo que nos está diciendo el embajador, esta zona, específica zona donde se está haciendo esta represa, no fue incluida dentro del bien, puesto que no presentaba las características para estar en este bien, y ellos, dentro de lo que tengo entendido, han hecho un cambio en su proyecto. Quisiera saber si la delegación de Portugal me pudiera contestar cuál ha sido ese cambio para tratar de mitigar el panorama. Gracias.
Thank you very much. India, floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam Chair. On the screen, I see this photograph, this depiction. It's not a very pretty picture. It's not something that I like to see, but this is work in progress. When I get up in the morning, Madam Chair, I don't want to see myself, let alone anybody else. So I think this is not where we should be looking. But you're looking at a site that is in some ways reflective of the fact that it's 2,000 years old. It's man-made. This is man-made landscape. And do we stop progress there? The ambassador of France put it very eloquently. I would go a step further. I mean, the pyramids would never have been built if ICOMOS in the World Heritage Center had a say in it, because they would have altered the landscape. But to get back to the issues that confront us, this is partly about landscape, this is partly about visual integrity, but to me the challenge here is of combining heritage and development. And in this, the 40th year of the anniversary of the World Heritage Convention, we have to come to terms with the fact that heritage, if it is going to endure, if it is going to last, must be sustainable. I have very specific questions for the Portuguese delegation, and I hope, Madam Chair, that you will be kind enough to give them the floor on that. But I would like to be very clear on this. Are we saying that the outstanding universal value has been compromised by this? I understand that apart from the 3 dams that the Portuguese delegation mentioned, there are 8 dams in there. We have so many examples of dams that have actually added value, have added to the aesthetics, to the economy, to tourism, to many others. You're talking about generating power. You're also talking of one of the most stressed economies in Europe. It is no coincidence, Madam, that of the three of the 4 semi-finalists in the Euro Cup are actually the most stressed economies in Europe. I wonder what the link is. But no, the 4th is not. I did not understand the point about depopulation. The point has been made in the report. Why would the dam, as it is being said, reverse depopulation, what would be its impact on economic development in the area, I think we need to be clear. I think I need the Portuguese delegation to tell us what exactly the dam is going to do. Secondly, what is the impact? Are there vineyards in there? I know they've answered a part of this question, but are we actually impacting on perhaps the original, the core strategy, the core element of economic activity in the region? Lastly, Madam Chair, there is an issue raised here of lack of transparency. Now, can Portugal tell this committee why it did not add information on this project in this region when it was still a candidate for World Heritage? We heard that the Helsinki meeting or session addressed this particular inscription. So, Madam, I'd like these to be clarified, but I'd also want the wider questions. To what extent can we, and for this I need the World Heritage Center, I need the advisory body to tell us, where exactly are they going on this? Are we going to stop development in wherever there is a World Heritage site? And in this case, this is a World Heritage landscape. Are we going to stop development and keep people exactly the way they were hundreds of years ago? Is that what we're trying to do? Or are we going to combine heritage and development in a meaningful, sustainable way? It's a very critical question, and I think this is a test case for today. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. Switzerland, floor is yours.
Merci, Madame la Présidente. On a ici encore un site qui est potentiellement menacé par un projet d'exploitation d'énergie renouvelable. Et pour répondre à nos collègues de l'Inde, on peut ici aussi, encore une fois, se demander s'il n'y a pas d'autres lieux tout aussi adaptés pour réaliser ce type d'infrastructure sans créer un conflit avec la sauvegarde du patrimoine du tout. Mais permettez-moi aussi de faire une remarque plus générale, parce qu'un des problèmes principaux est ici qu'on est en train de discuter cette question trop tard. Il aurait été beaucoup plus facile de clarifier ces questions sur la base d'un avant-projet, sans créer des problèmes de travaux qui sont déjà en cours et sans créer de problèmes de travaux qui peuvent être changés uniquement avec difficulté à ce moment-là. Ce projet de barrage aura certes un impact sur le bien. Il faut penser non seulement au barrage lui-même, il y aura des infrastructures, des routes d'accès, des lignes à haute tension et des effets écologiques qu'il faut prendre en considération, notamment aussi les débits résidus minimaux de la rivière et par effet du barrage. Donc maintenant, pour savoir si oui ou non ce projet ait un impact prépondérant sur la valeur universelle exceptionnelle du bien et dans quelle mesure on peut pondérer ces effets, il faut au plus vite dépêcher la mission de suivi réactif sur le site. On remercie l'État partie d'avoir invité déjà cette mission. Et il faut aussi se rendre compte que, vu que les travaux sont en cours, plus qu'on attend et plus que les travaux avancent, moins grande sera la marge de manœuvre d'éventuellement adapter certaines parties du projet pour améliorer la situation pour le bien et pour les habitants de cette région. Merci, Madame la Présidente.
Thank you very much. Mali.
Merci, Madame la Présidente. Madame la Présidente, il y a des moments où pédagogiquement il est nécessaire de se répéter. Je voudrais emboîter le pas à Son Excellence, Monsieur l'ambassade de France, en disant que nous sommes devant un cas perplexe. Il s'agit de maintenir un équilibre entre un développement et comment préserver un site du patrimoine mondial. Mais on se rend compte que l'État partie a fait des gros efforts, même s'il y a, si vous voulez, ce barrage qui est là, il y a un élément fondamental qui a été mis en place, à savoir cette buffer zone. Donc le buffer zone, qui n'est même pas une exigence selon les orientations, mais c'est quand même recommandé, ça permet de protéger le site. Et il faut par ailleurs également tenir en compte l'intérêt des communautés. Donc on va vers, si vous voulez, un projet de développement durable. Moi, je pense que l'État parti a fourni suffisamment d'efforts dont il faut tenir compte. Je vous remercie.
Thank you very much. Germany, the floor is yours.
Merci, Madame la Présidente. I think we should have a changement of the rules. Before we start meetings of the World Heritage Committee, we should read out the convention once in the first day. And maybe we should all swear that we devote our intentions to protecting what is inscribed in the convention, which is not our ideas, but what the founding fathers of this convention wanted. And all nations subscribed to it, 190 so far. When I look at the picture, I see the same thing like yesterday night. It's a huge scar. I think that's for sure. Nobody's blind here. That doesn't look like a cultural vineyard landscape. Everybody is talking about sustainable development. I would like to remind them that here we are at this point talking about development and protection. Whether it's sustainable, nobody has checked yet. Maybe it is, maybe it is not. But that's a crucial difference. The difference to me is what will remain in the time that the Portuguese ambassador suggested, and I would like to ask the state party again. Will there be buildings that stay there? Would the Portuguese government of this area of today start this kind of maneuver in the buffer zone without ICOMOS dialogue again, if it would happen again? I think I understood there was a change in the government. And are they ready, if the ICOMOS mission will bring about the result that this is affecting the outstanding universal value, are they ready to then do what is suggested and look for a solution jointly with ICOMOS? These are my questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. United Arab Emirates, floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We would like to support what Mali said about sustainable development, and it seems we have a responsibility to show that cultural, social side of sustainability is not always at the expense of the environmental side of sustainability. And before we go on to ask for radical measures of completely stopping or dismissing development projects, including which feature renewable energy, we have to do a very thorough and accountable monitoring and study of the impacts of the OUV. We'd like to ask the state party if they have any further information on what mitigation they could take beside the ones that they've already taken, and we commend the efforts already taken. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And now Algeria, floor is yours.
Merci, Madame la Présidente. Nous sommes encore aujourd'hui sur le débat entre préservation et développement. C'est le cœur de tous nos débats et c'est aussi la relation avec la conservation qui est au cœur de la Convention. Moi, je me demande, et je voudrais poser la question à l'État partie, si vous pouvez leur donner la parole. Est-ce que ce projet était inscrit, il est dit dans les rapports que ce projet était inscrit auparavant et que l'État partie n'aurait pas fait état de cette question. Mais est-ce que le formulaire d'inscription des biens à inscrire, qui doivent être inscrits, doit contenir cette information et prévoir que le bien est déjà inscrit dans des schémas nationaux d'aménagement, dans une vision prospective à long terme, sur 20-25 ans. Et si tel est le cas, alors il faudrait le prévoir dans les questionnaires pour l'inscription du bien. Est-ce que l'État partie, s'agirait-il d'une omission volontaire de l'État partie au moment de l'inscription, ou s'agirait-il, excusez-moi l'ICOMOS, d'une négligence de la part de l'ICOMOS de n'avoir pas demandé, de n'avoir pas posé ce type de questions? C'est un problème que nous posons donc à l'ICOMOS et à l'État partie. Par ailleurs, le rapport fait état d'un plan de gestion dont l'opérationnalité n'a pas été bonne, disons, et qu'il est dit que cela dénotait de l'absence d'un système de gestion efficace de l'ensemble. Madame la Présidente, je voudrais savoir si l'État partie a pris des dispositions concernant l'opérationnalité de ce plan de gestion et qu'est-ce qui a été fait depuis? Je vous remercie.
Thank you very much. I see nobody else wants to take the floor. So, State Party Portugal, did you hear all the questions? Please, floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Madam Chairperson. I took into account all the questions which has been put. It's difficult to answer to them in detail, but I would like to add one important thing. I would like to stress once again what was said. This is a dam to be built in the buffer zone. The project of the dam, as it was presented in the beginning, was seen by the ECOMOS report as, and I quote, most surprisingly, the dam in itself is not that severe from a visual point of view. So it means that in terms of impact on the landscape, the dam on itself, even if the overall cultural landscape it's affected, is not severe on the visual point of view. Some of the major impacts were considered on the 3 hectares out of 25,000 which are in the site. And the impacts of the infrastructures, they will be reviewed, and there is a new plan precisely according to what was mentioned by the report, the ECOMOS. It was almost entirely built underground, at high cost, I must say, but a project which was made by one of the most prestigious world architects, Eduardo Souto Moura, precisely at the request of the previous mission. I would, all of the delegations of this committee as in hands the images which can compare the previous project and the current ideas for the project. And to be frank, this photo we are looking to is not, I would say, it's probably the worst photo that could be taken on the area, but in any case, we could provide some less dramatic photos of the work which is being done. There were several questions put forward by different delegations, and some of them are linked, for example, with the question of the population and the impacts of the population. As a matter of fact, there are several ways in which the 2 of them may improve the life conditions of the men and women of the region. First of all, because the new dam reservoir will take part of the river tour, and it will improve, and this is important for that area, and I know what I mean because I came from that area, improve climate, as it always happens in these cases, and will also provide the part of northern region of Portugal with strategic water reserves and a clean and renewable source of energy. One should not forget the touristic flow and job creation that goes hand to hand in the improvement of natural conditions on Tua Valley, which will even benefit from its association with unique worldwide attraction, which is Alto Douro wine region. Thirdly, the Portuguese authorities decided that alongside with the construction and forced to a dam, there should be an important social volet associated with renewable energy. As such, an anchor project to foster sustainable development in Tua Valley has already begun and is underway, aiming at reversing population exodus and the land desertion, promoting both social and economic development by providing new economic activities and opportunities, which, by complementing agriculture activities, will contribute to ensure sustainability and the conservation of the Alto Douro wine region through new employment facilities and resettlement of young people. I must say that this we recognize, and that was one point which was mentioned, we recognize that in the way things were presented by the Portuguese part, we were not perfect at all, Madam Chairman. That is why we want to state formally that we very much regret that Portugal didn't do in due time to the UNESCO and didn't put forward all the elements which should have been done in due time. But I recognize that, but and I recognize that that deserves criticism, but I also want to stress and formally that transparency and full cooperation, as it was provided last year for the mission, and it will be provided to the next mission, and in all our contacts with ICOMOS, that transparency and full cooperation may be expected from our side. And the new mission will have at its disposal all the elements and contexts that it considers essential to accomplish its task. Madam Chairman, there are lots of elements that could be put forward to this committee regarding, in particular, the fact that this hydroelectrical energy capacity, Portugal only exploits 46% when most of the European Union countries benefit from around 80%. The two of them as a major relevance in the overall plan defined by Portugal to fulfill its European Union commitments in regards to the production of energy for renewable sources, thus reducing CO2 emissions. Despite this economic crisis, Portugal is going through, the Portuguese government its goal is reaching the objectives to set in this regard, as it considers that sustainable development commitments are a touchstone of the environment preservation in global terms. Madam Chairman, I think that we presented this case in all transparency. We are prepared to help the new mission to take into account all the new elements. I can commit ourselves during this period not to make any kind of work which could affect the landscape. The works which are in course will be maintained, but not those works which can affect landscape. So there will be no risk at all until the presentation of the report of the mission that any kind of works will affect landscape. Thank you very much, Madam Person.
Thank you very much. I would like only to remind member states that in accordance with our rules, the members whose site is under discussion have the right only to answer the question and have the right for clarification and not for advocacy. Thank you very much. So now I give the floor to ICOMOS. Please, floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We certainly welcome the view of the position of the State Party to engage in dialogue on how to improve this project within the limitations that now exist, as it is so far advanced down the road. And ICOMOS looks forward to working in that direction. Of course, as has already been said, we would have preferred to have had the dialogue much earlier up the road, as it were. But what this project has underscored, as we see it, is the need for a robust management plan for the whole of the property, which looks not only how to sustain the traditional practices, but also how to use new forms of development that can contribute to the conservation of the property and sustaining its OUV, as well as sustaining rural life. And that seems to be also one byproduct of the debate that we are having, that such a plan is now moving forward. The mission will certainly look not only at the visual impact on the property, but also other concerns that have been expressed, such as any impact on the microclimate that could impact on the vineyard landscape in any way. But could I just stress and underscore that ICOMOS is certainly not against renewable energy, but we do feel, as the Indian ambassador has underscored, that there is a need for a really fundamental debate at a very early stage as to how renewable energy projects can be compatible with the conservation of properties. And we do not see why this cannot happen, but it does need lengthy discussion at an appropriate stage in the development of such plans. I would just like to answer one other point that was raised, and that is the question of large projects that may be in the pipeline at the time of nomination. There was a decision of the committee last year which encouraged state parties to be open and provide details of possible future large-scale projects at the time of nomination. To help with the advisory body evaluations. In many cases, when properties are inscribed on the list, there are plans that may be 10, 20 years old, but it's not always clear whether they will be activated. But if they are activated, then the rules of the operational guidelines should apply in such plans being notified to the World Heritage Centre. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Very much. And before we move to the amendments, I would like to give the floor to the Director of World Heritage Centre. Please, Mr. Rao, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I don't want to sort of comment on the procedure that you're going to adopt for the draft decision, just to address the larger question which the distinguished delegate of India raised. He made the remark that is the center going to halt all development in relation to World Heritage Sites? That is definitely not the intention. You have yourselves established operational guidelines, you've established rules of procedures, which require the center to bring forward potential threats from certain developmental projects, and that's precisely what we are doing, presenting for the committee's consideration cases where a particular state party does not either mention things in the nomination document, and Annex 5 of the operational guidelines very clearly specifies that any long-term developmental plans that you know of at this stage, please bring it forward in the nomination document. Well, that did not happen in this case. Then you have operational guidelines paragraph 172. Are there developmental plans that might impact on the outstanding universal value? Even that was not conveyed, but an environmental impact study was done and approved by the state party. And after the mission was carried out in April last year, work progressed on the particular project. Now, not taking into account the recommendations of the advisory body. Now, in this particular case, we had to sort of draw attention to the potential impacts. By no means are we saying that development should not progress together with conservation. If that was the case, the theme of the 40th anniversary would not have been World Heritage and Sustainable Development and the role of local communities. We certainly want to support development, and that is precisely the role of heritage in development, to support sustainable development, to support the livelihoods of communities. And in this case, there are certain guidelines, environmental impact assessment guidelines I provided, heritage impact guidelines I provided. The idea is to just take into account these guidelines and make an assessment whether any development project will or will not have an impact on the outstanding universal value. That is all that we are trying to point out, and of course the decision rests with the committee members. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. Now we move to the amendments. I will give the floor to the rapporteur. Please, floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. We have received 5 amendments from the part of the French delegation concerning paragraphs 4, 5, previous paragraph 9, and 7 of the draft decision. So you may want to look at the whole text and go through the amendments. I must say, Madam Chairperson, that you could directly go through the adoption of paragraphs 1 to 3, which have no proposed amendments.
If you don't have anything against, so we can approve the paragraphs which don't have any amendments, and we will not, because you have in your book all the draft decision, and you can then compare paragraph by paragraph. So I see that paragraph 1, paragraph 2, paragraph 3 have no changes and amendments, and we can adopt these 3 paragraphs. Adopted. So we move to the paragraph 4. So I don't see here big changes.
Yes, Madam Chairperson. On paragraph 4, the only amendment proposed is to include the word initial planning. Initial.
South Africa, please, floor is yours.
would like to support the proposal as the word initial encourages the state party, and it gives us a chance that in the future planning it will deal with what initially was not dealt with. So we support this amendment. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Colombia, floor is yours.
Gracias, señora Presidenta. Igualmente queremos apoyar esto. Como hemos visto, el Estado parte ha hecho todo lo necesario para poder adaptar el proyecto a las necesidades de ICOMOS. Gracias.
Muchas gracias. Who else I see no objections. So can I consider that we can adopt the paragraph 4? Adopted. So we move on to the paragraph 5.
Yes, on paragraph 5, there is the inclusion of a phrase at the end of the paragraph, which reads, "but notes with satisfaction the explanation which has since been provided by the state party."
Colombia, please take the floor.
Gracias, señora Presidenta. Igualmente queremos apoyar esta enmienda, como lo explicó el embajador de Portugal. Esto sucedió, pero están tomando todas las acciones necesarias para poder estar dentro de la norma de ICOMOS. Gracias.
Muchas gracias. Switzerland, floor is yours.
Merci Madame la Présidente. Les explications de l'ambassadeur du Portugal nous ont convaincus et nous sommes tout à fait d'accord avec l'amendement proposé par la France. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you very much. Germany, please, floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. These explanations and the commitment of the state party is crucial for me, frankly, because we can't make the past better, but we can make the future better. Thank you. So Germany supports this amendment.
Thank you very much. Serbia.
Merci, Madame la Présidente. La Serbie appuie l'amendement de la France. Merci.
Thank you very much. So, as I understand, we can adopt this paragraph. Russian Federation.
Благодарю вас, госпожа председатель. Мы также поддерживаем поправку Франции и Германии. Спасибо.
Thank you very much. I see nobody against. That's why we can adopt the paragraph 5 like amended, adopted. So now we move to the paragraph 6, which has no amendments and no objections. So paragraph 6 is adopted. Then paragraph 7.
Yes, Madam Chairperson. New paragraph 7 is amended, and it was the previous paragraph 9 of the original draft decision. And as I said, it's amended in the first part. So this paragraph reads, "Notes with satisfaction the invitation by the state party for a joint World Heritage Center, ICOMOS, UCN reactive monitoring mission," and the rest is the same.
Colombia, please. Floor is yours.
Igualmente apoyamos esta enmienda y fue efectivamente el Estado parte que hizo esta invitación, lo cual es muy positivo. Gracias.
Muchas gracias. Senegal, floor is yours.
Si, Madame la Présidente, nous souhaitons aussi appuyer cet amendement dans la mesure où l'invitation est de l'initiative de l'État parti. Merci.
Thank you very much. Not to spend a lot of time for supporting. Who is against? Please tell me and we go on. I see nobody. Please take the floor.
Je suis pour.
So thank you very much. So we can adopt this paragraph like it was amended, adopted. So paragraph 8.
Before going to paragraph 8, Madam Chairperson, I may ask your indulgence to request France on something. The previous paragraph 7 is not included in their proposal. I guess that, I don't know if they wanted to delete it, but maybe we could get more information from the part of the French delegation.
En fait, le paragraphe 7 a été transformé en paragraphe 9.
Members of the committee, who wants to take the floor? Colombia.
Gracias, señora presidenta. Disculpe volver a tomar el micrófono, pero es que yo creo que este párrafo es de gran importancia. Hemos visto el compromiso del país invitando la misión, presentando los cambios necesarios, entendiendo también lo que significa para el desarrollo de la región y lo que significaría parar todos los trabajos que han hecho un compromiso de no hacer ningún cambio que dañe el paisaje. Yo creería que este párrafo debe ser aceptado con la proposición francesa. Gracias.
Thank you very much. So who is against this paragraph? Germany, please take the floor.
There is no deadline set for the publishing of this monitoring report, and I understood my distinguished Portuguese colleague that he, like us all, would like to know the outcome of the report as soon as possible. So either we add a date here, or I would like to hear an indication when this report is going to be published. And I would like to include the word to seriously reduce the pace of the construction work. Because usually it would be an immediate halt. We understood that this is not possible for this government at this time, but they are committed to do it. So I think I'm just expressing what the delegation itself expressed. Seriously reduce the pace of the construction, and then I would like to hear when the monitoring report will be published. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Switzerland, floor is yours.
Merci Madame la Présidente. Après avoir entendu les explications de l'État partie, nous sommes confiants que ce projet peut être mené en réconciliant les différents intérêts qui existent. Et nous pouvons donc appuyer l'amendement de la France et aussi de l'Allemagne, tout en ajoutant à la fin du paragraphe ce que je vais vous lire lentement, et de mettre en œuvre les recommandations et d'adapter le projet le cas échéant. Parce que nous avons cru comprendre que l'État partie est tout à fait d'accord de réviser, si besoin est, le projet selon ces recommandations de la mission, et nous aimerions fixer ça dans la décision. Merci Madame la Présidente.
So, France, take the floor.
Non, je veux réagir sur ce que vient de dire la Suisse en disant qu'on peut s'arrêter après recommandation et de mettre en œuvre les recommandations. Le reste est une répétition.
Thank you very much. Estonia, floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have a problem, but I don't have a good amendment to solve it. The wording, seriously or not, reduce the pace of the construction work. Construction is a business, and in economical terms, this is an absurd. We should find some more saying expression there to reduce construction, reduce the pace of construction work. It doesn't function in my mind. Thank you.
Mali, floor is yours.
Oui, merci Madame la Présidente. Enfin, le Mali est du même avis, parce que soit on suspend les travaux, ou on laisse au rythme, parce que c'est quand même quelque chose de bien structuré, c'est scientifique. Ce n'est pas comme une voiture, on avance et puis on met le rythme qu'on veut. Moi, je crois qu'il faut être très clair sur ce point. Soit on demande une suspension temporaire des travaux pour le truc, ou bien on laisse le travail continuer tout en surveillant ce qui est à surveiller dans un souci d'harmonie. Merci.
Thank you very much. Germany.
I have a limited car experience with Mercedes and Porsche and Audis and others, but I would say you can drive a car in the second gear, in the third, in the fourth, or in the fifth. So I would, even the sixth, I'm just corrected by my experts. I think we all know what is meant, and we have full confidence that the government of Portugal will constructively understand and put this in place. There may be phases in construction work which are considering enlargement. I think we should stick, unlike Estonia said, we should stick with reduce the pace of, because they will know what they have to do and what they can do. Having said this, I also would think, yes, mon cher distinguished collègue, c'est probablement répétitive la deuxième phrase. The last part of the second phrase. La dernière phrase, la dernière partie de la dernière phrase.
Thank you very much.
I'm not finished. Mais je pense qu'on doit l'avoir parce que c'est pas détriment. C'est plus clair pour le gouvernement de comprendre la sérieuxité. Et je pense comme hier, pour le dialogue, c'est nécessaire qu'ils comprennent la sérieuxité. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you very much. France, floor is yours.
Merci, Madame la Présidente. Je crois que ce qui est très important, c'est l'impact visuel de ces travaux. Donc il faudrait qu'on trouve une formulation qui permette de dire, prendre note de la décision de l'État partie, de conduire uniquement des travaux sans impact visuel. Ce qui est une autre façon de dire ralentir.
Colombia, floor is yours.
Gracias, señora presidenta. Quisiera recordar aquí que uno de los criterios que utilizó el Estado parte, es decir, Portugal, para definir el área afectada fue justamente el punto visual desde el río. Entonces, en ese sentido, obras que no tengan un impacto visual, como se determinó previamente, me parece que deberían tener una consideración diferente. En este caso, como lo ha explicado el Estado parte clarísimamente, esta obra no tiene un impacto visual sobre el paisaje inscrito. Gracias.
Excuse me, it seems to me that here in this paragraph we speak about it, we take note of the decision of state party. So I don't understand why we now try to put here more and more. We have to understand what they take note of, which decision. What, to reduce, to suspend, to wait the monitoring mission and then you know, go on with the construction. But it seems to me that we can't judge. We only here reflect what state party is doing. So my proposal will be, please, France, Germany, Colombia, please meet and make the final formulation in good English and French. And we stop now this, you know, propose more and more variants of the expressions here. Please do it, and it facilitates our work. So now we can move to the, you know, point 9, which is not, which we don't change anything, so I suppose we can adopt this point 9. And point 10, so we take off, and then we move to the last point, which is 10 now. And I give the floor to reporter. We have only one small amendment there.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. Actually, from what I'm seeing now is a merge of previous paragraph 9 and paragraph 10. I will, with your permission, maybe recommend the French delegation to confirm this, but my understanding is that this is a merge from previous paragraph 9 and 10.
Excuse me, you know, Your Excellency, Ambassador, please, maybe you clarify what does it mean in this context, if necessary. I mean, in point 9.
10.
And 10, excuse me, yes.
Lequel, le 10? Pardonnez-moi, Madame la Présidente.
Point, yes, point
le
9.
10.
Point 9. 10. 10. Point 10, proposed by you, if necessary. Le cas échéant. Why you decided to
c'est
put
tout simplement parce que dans l'état actuel des choses, on ne sait pas s'il y a un état de conservation. C'est tout.
Yes, but it will be required because
Yes,
it is
yeah.
the other, you know, it's normal state of conservation report with management plan with all these.
Oui, bien sûr. Bien
Yes,
sûr.
but why it is if necessary? What does it mean if
C'était
necessary?
un souci pour encourager l'État partie.
Okay, if nobody has anything against the Switzerland, please take the floor.
Excusez-moi, Madame la Présidente, mais je dois dire que je ne comprends pas l'ajout de la délégation française, parce que on a de toute façon des rapports sur l'état de conservation. Donc, voilà, il existera et il sera examiné lors de la 37e session. C'est quelque chose qui est automatique, je regrette. On a eu des rapports sur l'état de conservation cette fois, on en aura l'année prochaine. Donc, le cas échéant, me semble-t-il ici, est superfétatoire. Merci, Madame la Présidente.
Mexico, floor is yours.
Gracias, señora presidenta. Solamente para reiterar lo que ha dicho la delegación de Suiza, no consideramos que sea un valor agregado esta frase, porque en todo caso, como usted bien lo dijo, los estados tienen que someter actualizaciones del informe, además de que se estaría condicionando o dejando un elemento subjetivo la presentación o no de información actualizada. Gracias.
Thank you very much. France, floor is yours.
Merci, Madame la Présidente. Pas de problème, on enlève le cas échéant.
Thank you very much. It seems to me that the whole item will be more, you know, better sound. So, as I don't see any objection to adopt point 10 of this resolution, adopted. So, and when you will be ready, we will go back to the point 8. You are ready? Ah, excellent. Yes, please, France, take the floor.
Donc notre proposition, c'est simplement dire de ralentir de manière significative. Ensuite, on enlève quoi? D'accord.
Please, if you can read the whole phrase.
Bien sûr, donc prend note de la décision de l'État partie de ralentir de manière significative le rythme des travaux de construction du barrage de Fos-Tuar et infrastructures associées à compter de l'adoption de cette décision jusqu'à ce que le rapport de la mission conjointe de suivi réactif soit publié. Point.
Switzerland, floor is
Non,
yours.
il faut, on garde le projet.
Excusez-moi, Madame la Présidente, mais je crois que, en tout cas, le membre de phrase est de mettre en œuvre les recommandations que la France, d'ailleurs, avait acceptées, doit rester. Si on veut supprimer et d'adapter le cas échéant, parce que de nouveau, il y a un cas échéant, et je pense que c'est un terme qu'on n'aime pas beaucoup ici, en tout cas, parfois, moi, je ne l'aime pas, vous l'avez vu tout à l'heure. Dans ce cadre-là, on peut supprimer la dernière partie, mais la mise en œuvre des recommandations me paraît importante. Merci, Madame la Présidente.
France, floor is yours.
Merci, Madame la Présidente. Pas de problème, on va jusqu'à recommandation.
Merci, Colombia.
Gracias, señora presidenta. Tengo una pregunta de ahí como realmente, porque le estamos pidiendo al Estado parte que ralentice el trabajo y estamos esperando el resultado de la reacción de la misión reactiva. Podríamos ponerle ahí como una fecha, porque es que un trabajo simplemente, un trabajo ingenieril no se puede parar indefinidamente. Si la misión sale y el resultado está en un año, es dramático para todos. Podríamos pedirle ahí como una fecha exacta, decirle a los 2 meses, al mes, no sé, es una pregunta. Gracias.
Thank you very much, and I would like to ask ICOMOS.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This was also a point that was concerning ICOMOS, because the committee is asking for a reactive monitoring mission, and normally the recommendations of the mission are approved by the committee. Now, we're all aware of the urgency of this situation. The State Party wants to move forward, and we want to have a dialogue to help them to do so. As the decision now stands, it is encouraging the State Party to implement the recommendations of the mission, but at some point those recommendations need to be approved or signed off. ICOMOS is certainly ready and willing to undertake the mission as quickly as possible and to produce the mission report as quickly as possible thereafter. The question then is what happens to it, and ICOMOS would like to suggest that perhaps it might be appropriate to use a formulation that was provided for in Decision 35-COM 7.2 last year, which allowed the Director General of UNESCO, in consultation with the chairperson of the World Heritage Committee, to take decisions between sessions. We consider that it might be appropriate, once the recommendations of the mission have been published, and assuming they are agreed by the State Party, that they could be in effect signed off before the next committee with using this provision that was agreed by the committee last year.
May I ask you, remind us, please, is it in our rules or it is necessary to reflect in this decision?
Madam Chair, this arrangement was used in a decision for one of the State of Conservation reports last year, and the formulation of words was along the lines, calls upon the Director General in consultation with the Chairperson of the World Heritage Committee in the event of the omission concluding certain things, that certain actions would be taken in line with the provision of Decision 35 Con 7.2 paragraph 6 and so on. This is how it was formulated last year.
But it seems to me that it was a precedent which we can use in future. Do you think that it's necessary to formulate special, item here? Is it necessary? Thank you very much. Germany?
Madam Chair, I wonder whether ICOMOS could agree. We have now formulated a paragraph which say that they will work jointly. The government has declared its full commitment to apply by what is needed. And I think that it is included in the ralentir that if there's something that ICOMOS is horribly acting about, the government in its own capacity, I would have trust in them, would not do what ICOMOS recommends not to do, even without a council decision. So I think we can leave it to the next council in an ordinary basis, but the government declares its willingness to voluntarily look into it. And I heard my colleague saying that for the Portuguese government. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It seems to me, yes, it's reasonable. Normally, we are looking for ICOMOS recommendations. Yeah. So, in any case, yes, please. You know, the problem, like Mr. Rao explains me, that if the state party doesn't agree with the ICOMOS recommendation, who will judge it before, let's say, committee? So, and they give the power to the chairperson and DG somehow to be, in this case, some kind of arbiter in this difficult situation. Switzerland, please, floor is yours.
Oui, Madame la Présidente, merci. Vous avez tout à fait raison. Moi, je crois que c'est très simple. On ajoute pour la sécurité juridique et pour le cas où cela se passerait, ce que je ne pense pas, personnellement, les termes adaptés de la décision que nous avions prise l'an dernier dans un cas analogue. Et ainsi, on sait que lorsque la mission aura été faite, lorsque les discussions auront abouti, lorsque les recommandations seront consensuelles ou, le cas échéant, auront été arbitrées par la présidente et la directrice générale, eh bien, l'État partie peut aller de l'avant. Pour reprendre l'image de ma collègue allemande, cette fois plus en 2 chevaux, mais en Porsche.
Thank you very much. France, the floor is yours.
Je suis assez d'accord avec ce que vient de dire l'ambassadeur de Suisse. Je pense qu'on est dans un climat de confiance. Il faut faire confiance à la fois à l'État partie pour tenir compte des recommandations, et je pense qu'il faut faire confiance aussi à l'ICOMOS pour qu'il remette son rapport avec une certaine diligence. Je vous remercie.
Colombia, please take the floor.
Gracias, señora presidenta. No quiero volver al tema, pero para mí sí es importante que quede por escrito, en tono de confianza al país, al Estado, ahí como a todos, pero es mucho más claro que quede por escrito el precedente y cómo vamos a proceder, porque después se puede prestar para interpretaciones, es mucho mejor dejar las cosas claras y por escrito. Gracias.
Thank you very much. So I would like, Reporter, are you ready to propose us some formulation, or I would ask delegation of France to work? You're ready, please.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. Following the discussion, we will try to make a proposal for consideration of the committee, and based on the decision 35.7.2 that was taken last committee session. Maybe we could say decides that the Director General, in consultation with the chairperson of the World Heritage Committee, can officially put forward concrete requests for action to the state party based on the results of the joint reactive monitoring mission, something like that. It may work.
Are you agree with such?
Madam Chairperson,
yes,
sorry.
please.
I am being told by the legal advisor that it may be wiser to delete the word can. So we will directly say the World Heritage Committee officially put forward concrete requests.
Maybe to change the word decide to request the Director General or ask Director General in consultation to, but not decides Director General. The request maybe.
Madam Chair, I think I know your intention. We don't want to force the director down to do something, but we have to have decides legally because it's the committee's decision. So we can say decides to request, but we cannot leave decides out. Sorry.
Without that, request Director General. Delete that. So, if you agree with such, formulation, yes, please, Switzerland.
Excusez-moi, Madame la Présidente, je suis tout à fait d'accord avec la formulation, mais nous l'avons vu dans le cas de l'année dernière, la confiance que nous avions mis dans le pays, je ne me souviens plus exactement lequel, était tout à fait juste. J'aimerais voir la même chose ici, et j'aimerais ajouter dans ce cadre-là les termes « le cas échéant ». Présente officiellement, le cas échéant, peut-être ici, une demande concrète à l'État sur la base des résultats d'une mission conjointe du suivi réactif. Parce qu'il se peut très bien qu'on n'en ait absolument pas besoin et que le dialogue entre le Portugal et l'ICOMOS soit tel que tout le monde est d'accord et puis ils peuvent aller de l'avant. Merci, Madame la Présidente.
Thank you very much. It's Senegal, please. The floor is yours.
Non, c'était une petite remarque de forme qu'on a corrigée là, entre-temps. Je vous remercie. Le texte français.
Thank you very much. India.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would go with these formulations, but I would request that in some way the chair or the committee also ask the same transparency of ICOMOS. We've discussed this issue before. We've talked about it. I would like, firstly, the definition of joint, and we have differing definitions of joint. Secondly, I think the state party should be free and allowed to put forward experts of their choice to work with ICOMOS as well, or any other state party which is interested in it. Because this must be an open process. We must, you're asking the state party to take obligations on, and I think the same degree of responsibility must come on ICOMOS. Thank you, Madam Chair.
No, I suppose that ICOMOS will take note of your suggestion. So now I would like concretely to finish with this item. So we have point 8. I see no objection of this formulation like it is proposed and amended. So adopted. 8 bis, and it will be point 9 finally. I see no objection, so can I consider that we adopt this point? Thank you. So now we have to approve the full decision 36,7b.81. Are there any objection? I see none, so the decision on this point is approved, adopted. Decision is adopted. Yes. Now we move on to the Cathedral Alcázar and Archivo de Indias in Sevilla. 36,7b.88. Document WHC 12/36.com/7b.add. Now I give the floor to the representative of World Heritage Center. Floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The document concerning the State of Conservation report of the Cathedral Alcázar and Archivo de Indias in Seville, Spain, could be found in WHC 12/36.com/7b.add. The draft decision is on page 170 for the English version and page 183 for the French version. After the document has been made public with the second dispatch on the 1st of June, there have been no new documents received by the World Heritage Center from the State Party, but a couple of meetings have taken place in May and June with representatives of the Spanish national and local authorities, where different aspects of the existing issues have been discussed, including possible solutions. I would also like to point out that since the dispatch of the working documents on the 1st of June, many articles have been published in the local and national Spanish press concerning the proposed inscription of the property on the list of World Heritage in danger. This is the information that the World Heritage Center wanted to provide with regard to this item of the agenda. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. And now I give the floor to the representative of ICOMOS.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Since the 33rd session, the committee has been expressing concern at the potential impact of this tower on the property. The mission in November was requested to assess the impact and consider options for modifying the project. As acknowledged in the Statement of Outstanding Universal Value, which has been drafted for this property, the inscribed property of the Cathedral, the Alcazar, and the Archivo des Indias forms a remarkable monumental complex that has established a dialogue with its surroundings that contribute to its identity. The Giralda Tower, acknowledged as a unique artistic achievement, now part of the cathedral, is a vertical landmark for the city and has a prominence and significance over its urban surroundings. This proposed tower is twice as high as the Giralda, and along certain visual axes, the new tower would completely alter the relationship of the Giralda to the urban landscape, inverting the relationship and reducing its overall significance. After the mission report had been sent to the state party, the initial response was positive, and the municipal government expressed a wish to revoke the license. However, subsequent reports indicate that work is progressing, as you can see from this picture, and the tower is now almost complete. ICOMOS would like to stress that large development schemes at the base of the tower do not impact adversely on the property. We further consider that the landscape of Seville offers many opportunities for new development that would not compromise the integrity of the property. Indeed, innovative new buildings have already been successfully integrated into the fabric of the old city. However, ICOMOS considers that this one particular building has a drastic and excessive addition to the landscape forms of which the World Heritage property forms a part. We are concerned that this building does not have a dialogue with its surroundings, but it's much more of a shouting match, which has an adverse effect on the property. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please, members of the committee, you take the floor. Who wants to? Mali, floor is yours.
Merci, Madame la Présidente. Madame la Présidente, selon l'exposé de la représentante du Centre du patrimoine mondial et de l'ICOMOS, j'ai retenu deux éléments. Il y a eu des rencontres entre le Centre du patrimoine mondial et l'État parti, et il y a eu des solutions possibles. Solutions possibles par rapport à quoi? Ensuite, je voudrais être un peu étayé par rapport à la disparité entre le tour en construction et les alentours. J'ai vu dans le dossier que l'État parti a eu même à élaborer une zone tampon. Et si l'État parti est là, j'aimerais que l'État nous donne beaucoup plus d'informations sur les dispositions prises pour pouvoir ralentir l'impact visuel de la tour sur son environnement. Je vous remercie.
Colombia, please, floor is yours.
Gracias, señora presidenta. Sí, igualmente quisiéramos oír del Estado parte cómo están viendo ellos el impacto visual, qué está pasando con la torre, cómo están viendo ellos que los criterios se están afectando o no, los criterios que se tomaron para ser inscritas las tres propiedades en la lista del peligro. Gracias.
Thank you very much. Switzerland.
Merci, Madame la Présidente. La récente mission et son rapport a confirmé à ce qu'il fallait s'attendre que la tour, avec une hauteur finale prévue de 178 mètres, portera atteinte à la valeur universelle exceptionnelle du bien. Ce cas de la tour à Séville nous rappelle des discussions qui ont été menées à Cologne il y a quelques années, où le problème était également des tours qui portaient atteinte également à un autre monument principal de la ville, la cathédrale. Voire aussi à Dresde, où un projet différent, la construction d'un pont, a carrément détruit la valeur universelle exceptionnelle du bien. Dans le cas de Cologne, le bien avait été inscrit sur la liste en péril et les demandes du comité réitérées avaient été entendues. Le projet a pu être modifié. Respectivement, les auteurs initialement prévus ont été abandonnés et le bien a conservé sa valeur universelle exceptionnelle et a pu être retiré de la liste en péril. À Dresde, comme on le sait, les travaux n'ont pas été arrêtés et le comité était obligé de retirer le bien de la liste du patrimoine mondial avec grand regret. La Suisse espère que les autorités responsables pourront se décider de suivre le modèle de Cologne. Et à ce point, nous aimerions avoir des clarifications sur l'état exact de l'avancement des travaux pour ce tour à ce jour d'aujourd'hui. Nous aimerions aussi lancer dans ce sens un appel aux promoteurs de la tour. Les investisseurs de ces tours sont-ils vraiment décidés de créer un impact fortement négatif sur un bien exceptionnel de leur patrimoine? On ne l'ose pas croire. La Suisse soutient la recommandation telle qu'elle est proposée d'inscrire le bien sur la liste en péril. Merci, Madame la Présidente.
Algeria, floor is yours.
Merci, Madame la Présidente. Lorsque nous parlons de Séville, nous voyons très difficilement toute la ville de Séville. Pour nous, toute la ville de Séville est classée. Pour nous, toute la ville de Séville est historique. Or, dans la ville de Séville, il y a aussi des espaces qui sont modernes et où la vie est peut-être différente que dans le vieux centre. Ce qui est, à notre avis, et d'après le rapport qui a été établi par l'ICOMOS, que nous félicitons pour le rapport qui a été établi, et nous félicitons l'ICOMOS également et l'État partie pour les rapports qu'ils ont eus et les discussions cordiales sur ce projet dont nous avons eu écho. Ce que nous relevons ici, c'est que la tour est tout de même à 1600 mètres des 4 monuments classés, avec leur zone tampon, et que la perspective visuelle, qui est ici très importante, est en dehors de la zone tampon et n'est pas dans les règles du paragraphe 104 des orientations, de notre point de vue. Aussi, nous voudrions, s'il est possible, Madame la Présidente, de donner la parole à l'État partie pour répondre à ces questions sur les limites, la zone tampon et le classement des monuments. Le délégué de la Suisse nous a rappelé, bien entendu, le cas de Cologne qui nous a préoccupés pendant plusieurs sessions. Et il y a eu une entente entre les parties et entre l'ICOMOS et l'État partie, et ils sont arrivés à un consensus. Je pense que si l'État partie pouvait accéder à certaines recommandations de l'ICOMOS, il n'est pas nécessaire de proposer ce site au péril. Merci, Madame la Présidente.
Merci beaucoup. I will give the floor to the state party after all member states will, because I made a mistake with Portugal and I was reminded by our legal advisors that the member states can receive the floor after all members of the committee expressed themselves. So Mexico, please, you have the floor.
Gracias, señora presidenta. Señora presidenta, el caso de la Torre Peli en la isla de la Cartuja, en Sevilla, somete a los miembros del comité a un tema enormemente difícil, polémico y complicado. Evidentemente la solución tiene diferentes matices, pero yo quisiera apelar un poco a algunos elementos de análisis que nos permitan ir hacia adelante. Quisiera recordar que este bien fue inscrito apenas en la primera etapa de del lanzamiento de este instrumento tan importante, en 1987, donde todavía las directrices prácticas estaban en su etapa de balbuceos. Ni siquiera había Centro de Patrimonio Mundial, no había una secretaría perfectamente bien formada que se formó hasta el 92. Con lo cual es necesario ver que estas condiciones son importantes. Por otro lado, ahí están inscritos solamente los Reales Alcázares, la Casa de Contratación y la Catedral con su Giralda, nada más, estrictamente, y un área de amortiguamiento que no tiene nada que ver ni con mucho con toda la ciudad histórica de Sevilla, que es enormemente grande. En aquel momento todavía no había el manejo que hoy tenemos sobre los paisajes históricos urbanos, en donde se ha dado un gran avance y yo creo que ha sido una aportación de la Convención con respecto a cómo se manejan correctamente al día de hoy los paisajes históricos urbanos. La ciudad de Viena nos dio la oportunidad de ver cómo podíamos controlar las siluetas históricas, incluso más allá de las zonas de amortiguamiento. Este justamente es el caso de Sevilla. La Torre Peli está fuera de esa, ni siquiera de la zona de amortiguamiento, está totalmente fuera. Es evidente el impacto visual que esto tiene, pero este es un verdadero problema embarazoso para ver cómo vamos a abordar las transformaciones de las ciudades históricas urbanas y hasta dónde el comité tiene la posibilidad de dirigir o de orientar qué se puede y qué no se puede. Y yo hasta ahí me quedaría, pero quisiera recordarle al honorable representante de Suiza que no tiene nada que ver con el caso de Dresde, porque Dresde fue inscrito como paisaje histórico urbano y donde estaban justamente involucrados una serie de valores que son importantes y que ya estaban incluidos en la constitución de ese expediente. En cambio, en el caso de Sevilla, el asunto es totalmente diferente. Gracias.
Thank you very much. Jomini, the floor is yours.
Thank you. I can only smile when I hear that. Sorry. I can make a nice reference to Colognes, that you know the Cologne Cathedral, some of you have seen it. This tower is 176 meters higher than the Cologne Cathedral. So do we think that this is of impact? Secondly, it was not inscribed the entire city, but there were parts of the city inscribed, not entire Sevilla. Thirdly, if we don't use Dresden, I can quote from the Dresden Declaration, which was made in Sevilla, and I'm sure that the mayor of Sevilla had a chance to be in the room when it was done. I'll read it afterwards. And now I just lost it. Google. Okay, it mainly says it's the very serious obligation of all state parties and the international community to watch for the protection of what is in the outstanding Universal Value Declaration and what is in the decision of the committees. I don't even have to go to Germany. Let's take Russia. There was a project of a tower in St. Petersburg, which was the same thing. It was out of the buffer zone. There was a project of a tower in Cologne. It was out of the buffer zone. And both were interdicted. And both cities today, I think, are glad that they didn't do them. The citizens are happy that this didn't happen. What is our task? Our task is to preserve the heritage for future generations. Either this visual view, as it was in the outstanding Universal Value Declaration, is of importance to the world community, then it's not in the decision of a mayor or somebody else. On the contrary, we have to help the mayors and we have to help the local people to resist the pressure that comes from pure and maybe not sustainable development, or from people who would like a view on the World Heritage Center and pay dearly for it. Having said this, if this is not put on the danger list, then I think our credibility is in huge danger, and my recommendation would be to check whether other criteria still allow for the World Heritage status, or whether this criteria inscription has to be revised. And have a look at the photo. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Iraq, Estonia, excuse me.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would just like to support what we heard just now. And I would like also to recall that in this certain case, the debates on high-rise started before the construction started, actually. We deeply regret that the State Party has by far ignored the recommendations of the advisory bodies, the committee, and also the wider audience. And the Torre Pellica Hasol is, as we see, nearly completed. We regret that despite several notifications, there has been no fruitful debate and cooperation with the State Party, and therefore we support the draft decision as it is to put the site in the danger list. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Iraq, floor is yours.
شكرا سيدتي. نعرف جيدا أن أي بناء أو إجراء قرب المواقع الأثرية والتراثية حتى وإن كان خارج المنطقة العازلة يتطلب موافقات أصولية من قبل الجهات المعنية في المؤسسات ذات العلاقة بعمل الآثار والتراث والوزارات المعنية. فكيف تم منح مثل هذه الموافقات في مثل هذه الحالات لموقع مسجل أساساً على لائحة التراث العالمي؟ وسؤالي للدولة العضو، هل تمت استشارة على الأقل خبراء المركز قبل أن يمنحوا مثل هذه الموافقات؟ شكرا جزيلا.
Thank you very much. Cambodia. Floor is yours.
Merci, Madame la Présidente. Voilà encore un cas de l'impact visuel. J'adhère complètement sur ce que dit l'Algérie. J'attends donc les explications donc, de l'État partie, mais toutefois, il me semble qu'il faut, dans les cas à venir, avoir, et il est possible de faire des simulations des différentes vues qui affectent ou qui n'affectent pas le bien. Donc, toutefois, il faut quand même savoir que les constructions réalisées prennent en compte l'impact visuel. C'est un paysage urbain qui se dessine et non pas simplement un point de construction. Merci, madame.
Thank you very much. So I don't see other speakers now. I can give the floor to the State Party. Spain, floor is yours. For clarification.
Muchas gracias, Presidenta. Aclarar en primer lugar que desde Sevilla aplaudimos como se ha puesto de manifiesto que no es toda la ciudad, sino 3 monumentos los que están inscritos como patrimonio mundial. Desde el proyecto Puerta Triana, que se está analizando a los monumentos inscritos, la distancia es de 1.600 metros. Desde ese proyecto hasta la zona tampón son 800 los metros de distancia. Y quiero aclarar también que este proyecto que se está analizando no está en una perspectiva histórica de los monumentos que han sido declarados Patrimonio Mundial. Este proyecto está al otro lado del río, en la Sevilla moderna. Es un proyecto que se está construyendo en la zona más moderna de Sevilla, que cierra el espacio urbano de la Expo 92 de Sevilla. Y aclarar que el estado de conservación de los bienes Patrimonio Mundial no es que sean buenos, son excepcionales. Comprendemos la situación. Y es verdad que ha sido un proyecto controvertido, con personas y profesionales y expertos a favor y otros en contra. Quiero destacar aquí el compromiso que tiene el nuevo Gobierno de la ciudad de redactar un plan especial que impida en el futuro nuevos proyectos que comprometan el paisaje urbano histórico en el que se desenvuelven los bienes Patrimonio Mundial. A resulta de ese plan especial, el Gobierno de Sevilla procedería ante UNESCO a solicitar la ampliación del bien a otros edificios y zonas de la ciudad. Y al mismo tiempo, porque sabemos, como ya se ha puesto de manifiesto en este debate, que es un tema controvertido y que hay que analizar y estudiar de una manera minuciosa y detallada, nosotros desde Sevilla tenemos la voluntad de contribuir a un avance teórico y doctrinal en relación con el paisaje urbano y los bienes de patrimonio mundial. La ciudad de Sevilla quiere comprometerse a organizar inmediatamente un congreso de expertos en esta materia que sirva para aplicarse en Sevilla, pero que sirva para aplicarse con carácter general en todo el mundo. Muchas gracias.
Thank you very much. And now I give the floor to ICOMOS. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We have heard from many speakers about the potential impact of this proposed tower on the landscape. And I think ICOMOS deeply regrets that it was not possible to have a dialogue earlier to look at ways in which this project could be amended before we got to this stage. We understand the willingness of the State Party now to look at extending the World Heritage Site to the neighbouring areas, which do certainly appear to include attributes related to that area that are inscribed, and to look at ways of protecting the city through putting in place certain zones and planning regulations connected to those zones to ensure that in future areas of the city have tight planning rules that do not allow towers such as this to impact on its landscape in the future. And we certainly welcome that commitment. Nevertheless, we are left with the problem of this huge structure which is looming over a highly important, worldwide importance urban landscape, and we remain deeply concerned that if this tower stays as it is, it would set a very unfortunate precedent for World Heritage urban sites. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Serbia, take the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. This is a matter of visual impact, as I understand it, and I would just like to ask some, or make some theoretical points which may be of consequence in thinking about matters like this. Timing of the original placing of the three monuments in Seville on the list of world monuments has been invoked as an important element. In connection with that, one might want to consider the timing of our ways of seeing monuments and the setting in which they find themselves. One part is the urban environmental issue, which we are debating now, and the other one might be the methods of our seeing. This photograph was taken with telephoto lens, and we all know that telephoto conflates space and makes relationships different than they may appear to the normal eye. I think this is a matter of some concern. The second point here is the question of real height of the building. I think we heard that the tower is 176 meters high, and that this is twice the height of Cologne Cathedral, as I think the German delegate reported to us. What we see here is that the two towers which we are specifically comparing are of identical height. It's by chance that the grid on the screen places them in such a relationship that they seem identical in height. So there are ways in which this can be judged or misjudged. This is all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So I
to the
I suppose that the debate we finished, and now I give the floor to the reporter, and we will present the amendments to the draft decision. Please take the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. We have received numerous amendments from the delegation of Algeria, but before going to that, Madam Chairperson, may I make a general remark? Can I really pledge to committee members to try to pass to the Secretariat or to me propose amendments as soon as possible, because we are having problems to integrate them in the documents. I have to praise the Secretariat because they are doing a great effort to comply and to have for you the draft decisions on time, but please, we need your support in this regard. Having said that, Madam Chairperson, I must inform the committee that we have received proposed amendments on paragraphs 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12 of the draft decision. So you may want to go paragraph by paragraph, Madam Chairperson. We have already the text ready. We have the text ready both in English and French.
Thank you very much. It seems to me that we have to go paragraph by paragraph. So we can, if there is no objections, we can approve the paragraph 1. Adopted. Then paragraph 2. I see no objections. Adopted. So now we go to the paragraph 3. Germany, yes, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think with the reference, can we please roll up? I think following the discussion and the tradition that was followed in this House, we have to also make a reference to all the other decisions on Cologne, on St. Petersburg, and on Dresden as they were made in the discussion. Thank you.
Thank you very much, but it's necessary to make some homework because it's necessary to... Okay, so we can, if nobody is against, we can keep this item open and ask Secretariat to look for the decisions concerning St. Petersburg, but St. Petersburg never was proposed to the list in danger, if you remember. So we can recall, of course, but...
Recall.
Yes, please, reporter, take the floor.
Yes, Madam Chairperson, maybe we could ask the distinguished delegate of Germany to provide to us the reference on the decisions, and we also make on our part a research. Thank you.
So let's move to the...
Very happy to do the work of the Secretariat. Thank you.
It's a question of the text, what you want to put in the text. So now we move on to the, paragraph 3. Please read the paragraph.
Yes, Madam Chairperson. Yes, there are proposed amendments at the end of this paragraph. It reads, regrets that work on the Torre Pelli Cajasol has not been suspended, as requested by the committee at its last session, and is continuing that no discussions or consultations have been undertaken to consider whether the project could be improved and any possible impact further reduced.
I see the delegation of Estonia wants to take the floor. Please, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam Chair, for that. It's very hard to read from that text from this corner here. I was questioning the word whether, as it used to be how in before. That should we change this whether back to how the project could be improved?
Thank you very much, but it seems to me it gives absolutely different understanding of the matter. Project exists. We don't now discuss the project which can be or not can be. So construction is on place, so we have to understand that it would be not so easy. We can maybe improve something, but not stop the construction. Mali, please, you have the
Merci,
floor.
Madame la Présidente. Par rapport au paragraphe 3, il y a une forme de répétition en français, pour la version française, parce qu'on dit que les travaux n'ont pas été suspendus, et en ligne 3, on dit « et se poursuivent ». Donc je propose qu'on biffe « et se poursuivent ». Merci.
But it is continuing, 2 floors by week. So what we try to say here, so we have to be very careful with the, to be in accordance with the reality, I would say. Switzerland.
Merci Madame. Oui, vous avez tout à fait raison. Il faut que cela reflète la réalité, ils se poursuivent. Et pour une fois, je suis opposé à la proposition malienne. Il faut que ces deux termes soient là. Ce n'est pas la même chose, la suspension et la poursuite effective que nous voyons aujourd'hui. J'en viens à ce qu'a dit ma collègue de l'Estonie. Moi, je me réfère au texte français. Et là, en tout cas, la traduction en anglais, pour autant que je puisse me prononcer, ne correspond effectivement pas au terme « dans quelle mesure ». Whether, c'est « si ». Donc, il faut absolument changer ce terme. Je crois que la déléguée de l'Estonie a tout à fait raison. Et dernière chose, en fait, c'était pour cela que je vous demandais la parole, Madame la Présidente, et il faut pas changer le terme français, il faut changer le terme anglais, n'est-ce pas? S'il vous plaît. Dans quelle mesure? Le dernier point, comment le projet pourrait être amélioré et l'impact potentiel? Mais mon Dieu, ça fait 10 minutes ou un quart d'heure que je suis dans la salle, que j'ai vu une photo, mais l'impact n'est pas potentiel, l'impact est négatif. Donc je propose de nouveau, Madame la Présidente, comme vous l'avez dit tout à l'heure, il faut qu'on colle à la réalité dans notre décision. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you very much, Senegal. The floor is yours.
Merci, Madame la Présidente. J'aimerais savoir quelle différence dans le texte français il y a entre l'expression « dans quelle mesure » et le mot « comment ». Je ne vois pas de différence. J'aimerais savoir quelle différence il y a. Merci.
Thank you very much. Who else wants to take the floor? Algeria, please.
Merci, Madame la Présidente. Nous pensons que impact potentiel est plus approprié avec impact potentiel davantage atténué. On ne voit pas comment un impact négatif pourrait être davantage atténué. Merci, Madame la Présidente.
Thank you very much. So I see that we have some difficulties. Please, France, Algeria, Senegal, and Switzerland, sit together and give us a final version of how, in what extent. So it seems to me that now we can, go around all these words, please. And we move on, we go on. So please, I would like you to quickly sit together and give us the final version. Now we move on to the paragraph 4. Please take the floor.
Paragraph 4, Madam Chairperson. The proposed amendment, it's on deleting the words highly negative. It's in the second line of the paragraph, as you can see in the screen.
Thank you very much. Your opinion, member states, members of the committee. Is anybody who against this amendment? Germany, please.
I'm absolutely against this amendment because what message are we sending to the mayors of this world? You go to the World Heritage Committee and then you have long discussions with them how to do your project, which makes it more complicated, or you just build and then you will not even be critiqued. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So, Switzerland, please, floor is yours.
Je soutiens l'Allemagne. Merci, Madame la Présidente.
Thank you very much. Who else wants to? Iraq, floor is
شكرا
yours.
سيدتي. أنا أيضا أؤيد ألمانيا. لا يجب أن نخفف في حالات يجب أن نكون فيها مشددين في مثل هذه الحالات. شكرا جزيلا.
Thank you very much, Estonia.
We also support the amendment by Germany.
Thank you. Who is against? Nobody. So, yes, Algeria, please.
Merci, Madame la Présidente. Nous discutons de l'impact visuel et nous apportons un qualificatif négatif. Sommes-nous tous d'accord sur la notion de cet impact visuel et sur les perspectives visuelles importantes à partir d'une zone tampon? Nous n'en avons pas discuté aujourd'hui. Nous ne sommes pas dans le cadre d'un paysage urbain historique. Nous aurions aimé l'être, mais nous ne sommes pas dans ce cas. Donc, atténuons les qualificatifs qui ne pourraient pas avoir pour conséquence un dialogue entre les parties concernées. Merci, Madame la Présidente.
Estonia, please, floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to note that this point number 4 is about the findings of the ICOMOS advisory mission, and we are just noting with concern the findings of the advisory mission. It's not our own personal opinion about the case, so that's why we should keep it as it is.
Thank you very much. So, it seems to me that it's reasonable because we only speak about the opinion of ICOMOS and not about opinion of the committee. We speak about what it is reflected in ICOMOS, mission. So who is against? Algeria, yes, please.
Merci, Madame la Présidente. La tour dont il est question ici est en dehors de la zone tampon. Elle est à 1600 mètres du bien. Et j'entends parler dans le rapport de l'ICOMOS de ce qu'ils ont convenu d'appeler la zone de transition pour étendre la zone de protection. Et je ne sais pas ce que c'est que, sur le plan juridique, cette notion de zone de transition. Nous sommes devant un cas de figure qui illustre un véritable malentendu en matière d'outils d'évaluation sur cette notion d'impact visuel. Entre une approche qui prône, qui est celle de l'ICOMOS, et qui prône d'une part la dimension esthétique et paysagère, et qui repose sur des critères plutôt sensibles et subjectifs, non mesurables, et qui est plutôt romantique et artistique, et une approche scientifique et technique qui repose sur la mesure et la quantification de paramètres de pertinence. Dans le rapport qui nous est soumis, nous avons l'impression que l'évaluation de cet impact visuel a été effectuée sur la base d'une approche esthétique, alors que le projet de décision est élaboré dans un esprit de rigueur mathématique. Nous sommes un peu perdus entre ces deux approches, l'une de rigueur et l'autre plutôt romantique. Je vous remercie.
Thank you very much, but yes, I see Germany and India, but before we go on, I would like to... So the main issue here is paragraph 9. Do we propose it in danger list or not? So now all our discussion now on this wording, highly negative or not negative, you know, it's very important, but not so much important. So I would like to, you know, to ask you to be more precise and not to spend so much time on every word. Germany, please.
I share your view, Madam Chair. I think it's the ICOMOS quote, and 4 countries supported it already. I think we all should. But that's another thing. For the precision, that is exactly, I would like to make the point. First of all, it's not correct that the 2 towers are of the same height. Secondly, it is the same case, the other towers were also outside the buffer zone, and it was the same distance, and they were also on the other side of the river. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So once more, I would ask you, who are against Mali, please?
I just want to come up with a proposal to bring people together. I suggest to stop the sentence at ICOMOS. ICOMOS. S'arrêter à partir d'ICOMOS et supprimer le reste, s'il vous plaît. Non, non, non. Selon lesquels, jusqu'à impact visuel. Voilà. Un point à partir de ICOMOS. Voilà. Merci.
United Arab Emirates, floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We were just about to support Germany, Switzerland, Iraq, Estonia, and then the last proposal came up. If that is adopted, the advisory mission needs to be kept. Oh, it's corrected now. All right. Thank you.
Switzerland, please, floor is yours.
Si, merci Madame la Présidente. Je crois que si on s'arrête à impact visuel, la phrase ne veut simplement rien dire. Excusez-moi. Donc, je crois qu'il faut rester avec impact visuel négatif sur le cadre du bien, parce que cela explique qu'est-ce que c'est qu'un impact visuel et de quelle nature il est. Et d'autre part, je rappelle encore une fois ce que la déléguée de l'Estonie a dit avec clarté. Nous ne faisons que prendre note avec préoccupation de ce que l'ICOMOS a dit. Moi, je ne vois pas le problème. L'ICOMOS a dit ça, et ben, on prend note. Voilà. Merci, Madame la Présidente.
Thank you very much. It seems to me, as I see, it is some, you know, different translation, different versions. If in French version is un impact visuel négatif, is, and in the English highly negative, you know, impact. A little bit different sense, highly or negative. So India, floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to bring forth India's concerns regarding visual impact and visual integrity, which we have also mentioned earlier. And as also mentioned by our Serbian colleague, explained by Germany, there are various issues in how one perceives visual integrity. So I would request, we agree with the amendment that highly negative is removed. It just says visual impact of the setting. But we really need to get into more details on the visual integrity and make it more tangible and measurable for other products.
Thank you very much. Molly? Are you...
Excusez-moi, Madame la Présidente, je n'avais pas été compris. Ma proposition, c'était d'arrêter la phrase au niveau de ICOMOS et de supprimer selon lesquels jusqu'à visuel. Sinon, je n'ai pas eu de supprimer le reste de la phrase. Hein. J'ai dit seulement de biffer, mettre un point à partir de ICOMOS, supprimer selon lesquels la tour a un impact visuel négatif. Voilà, c'est ce que j'avais proposé. Voilà.
But you speak in French version, it's right in English not. After finding of the ICOMOS advisory mission, yes, full stop.
Not full stop, sorry.
Germany, please take.
Madam Chair, I'm a bit puzzled. Yesterday we made decisions when there were 5 countries who spoke out for one proposal. Then the chair wouldn't ask 4 times whether there's anybody against it till we find somebody who's against it. I understand that Mali has been making a very nice proposal. I think it's insufficient because we are for dialogue with the states, so the states shall know for clear what is in. The ICOMOS findings are very large, and findings is even not only the report, findings is more than that. So we leave the state and the city in unclarity. I want the entire paragraph. I've been supported by Switzerland, Iraq, Estonia, and the United Arab Emirates, so countries from almost all groups, and I would love us to keep it. It's a quotation. If this is a problem for somebody, put quotation marks. The tower has until the end and put a quotation mark, then it's clear it's a quotation, and go ahead and let's look at paragraph 9.
Excuse me, I put all proposals on the screen. It's a practice. Excuse me. Colombia, please.
Gracias, señora presidenta. Quisimos apoyar la propuesta de Alemania, Suiza, Irak y Estonia y los Emiratos Árabes simplemente porque el mismo Estado parte lo ha aceptado. Ellos lo han aceptado al punto de decir que van a tomar leyes y van a tomar decisiones nacionales para que esto no se vuelva a repetir. O sea, es evidente que tiene un impacto negativo muy alto para que el mismo Estado parte lo esté haciendo y les va a ayudar a ellos en el futuro utilizar esto para hacer su caso nacional. Por eso Colombia apoya esta posición. Gracias.
Mali.
Merci Madame la Présidente. Je pense que c'est une question de compréhension. L'Allemagne a tout à fait raison. Si on accepte, si on prend note avec préoccupation des conclusions, c'est tel que rendu. C'est l'ICOMOS qui a été sur le terrain, donc qui a apprécié. Soit on accepte ou bien on enlève ce point-là. Je crois qu'il ne faut pas qu'on continue à échanger sur ça. Merci.
Thank you very much. But, you know, if we have so much different, you know, vision, even I see that many countries support the original version when we reflect that with concern that this construction has negative impact, and it is reflected in ICOMOS advisory mission. I see that many countries support just this this formulation. What we will do, I will put so on voting, not to spend so much time. And we will vote, so the original, which states in draft decision in the page 170, formulation of the point 4. notes with concern the findings of the ICOMOS advisory mission that the tower has a highly negative visual impact on the setting of the property and thus on its context and relationship to the river and other buildings which support its attributes that convey outstanding universal value. So I put this formulation on voting. So who is in favor of this formulation of the paragraph? Please raise your nameplates and I ask the Secretariat to calculate. It's necessary simple majority. Who are against this formulation? Who are abstained? So I don't need to calculate how many abstained. So we have in favor 12 countries and 5 against. So we keep this formulation like it was originally in the decision 36.7b.88. Switzerland, please.
Excusez mon impertinence, mais vis-à-vis des traducteurs. Mais le texte français que nous voulons d'adopter tient le terme « La tour a un impact visuel négatif ». Le texte anglais that the flower has a highly negative visual impact. Il faudrait que les traducteurs se mettent d'accord et qu'on traduise un peu précisément les termes. Alors, ça m'est égal lequel on prend, mais il faut adapter les textes. Merci, Madame la Présidente.
Germany, please.
The voting was done on the English version, so we should take the English version, and I think it's only a minor mistake by the translators because the word très a disparu par hasard.
Thank you very much. So now we move on to point 5, which has been proposed to be deleted by Algeria, France, and Senegal. Maybe France. Okay, take the floor.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. We just wanted to get an explanation how this paragraph can be removed. Why? Thank you.
Yes, I wanted just to ask France about this. Please give the explanation why you propose to remove this paragraph.
Merci Madame la Présidente. C'est tout simplement une considération de réalisme compte tenu de l'état d'avancement de ce chantier et la manière dont c'est poursuivi. Arrêter ou démolir cette tour nous paraît totalement hors de propos.
Thank you very much. Colombia.
Gracias, señora Presidenta. Efectivamente, quisiera apoyar lo que acaba de decir Francia, porque hay que ser realistas. Esta obra ya está casi terminando. Cualquier demolición, cualquier cambio que estemos pensando, simplemente no va a pasar y por lo menos tenemos un compromiso del Estado parte y ese compromiso tenemos que resguardarlo y vigilarlo. Es muy importante y para futuras construcciones igualmente. Gracias.
Thank you very much. Who else wants to take the floor? Germany.
Sorry, Madam, to take it again. We had cases where the tower was not destroyed, but it was partly rebuilt to the satisfaction of everybody and future generations. But we will see what comes out of it. I don't see the strong commitment in the past of this area, which makes me wanting a clearer formulation. And secondly, in 5, I think we shouldn't mix this with a foreseen extension because that hasn't gone through the committee, so we can't quote it. We should stop at to provide the appropriate protection. We'll stop. With this amendment, I can live. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Switzerland.
Merci Madame la Présidente. La question de la hauteur, elle est quasiment le noyau du problème, mais ce n'est pas le seul parce qu'il y a aussi l'aspect architectural dont on a parlé avant qui est à prendre en considération et qui fait aussi partie des travaux qui devraient être arrêtés et c'est pour ça que nous on s'oppose contre cet amendement d'enlever ce paragraphe. Merci Madame la Présidente.
Thank you very much. Who else wants to take the floor? Iraq, please. The floor is yours.
شكرا جزيلا. حتى وإن كان بغير الإمكان تغيير واقع البناء الذي موجود أساسا إلا أننا كلجنة مهنية يجب أن نثبت رأينا على الأقل للتأريخ ولذلك نؤيد وجود الفقرة 5.
Thank you very much. So once more, our committee is divided. So who else want to take the floor? Or even we go the same procedure, we will vote. Not to spend a lot of time of, you know. I see nobody. Yes, Algeria, please take the floor.
Merci, Madame la Présidente. Nous avons bien regretté le vote de tout à l'heure. On aurait pu parvenir à un consensus si la question nous avait été posée. Et nous ne voudrions pas qu'un vote se fasse sur tous les paragraphes de la recommandation. Aussi, je propose de vous demander de donner la parole à l'État partie afin qu'il donne son point de vue sur ce qu'il compte faire dans le cadre du dialogue qu'il va instaurer avec les organisations consultatives. Merci.
If State Party will help us, I with pleasure will give him the floor. State Party, Spain. Point of order, Germany.
I think, Madam, unfortunately, at this point, it's not possible. We cannot. We are in the discussion and even discussing voting. So the State Party at this point cannot be heard, but very well at the end of
we didn't start voting. Only when the procedure of voting started, I can't
We are in the
give
process of decision-making.
No, during the decision we have the right to give the floor for some clarification to State Party. If members of the committee ask it, please, legal advisor, your opinion.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Director of the Center was just talking to me, so I didn't hear the question. Could you repeat it, please?
So Germany took the floor, have a point of order that I have no right to give the floor to the State Party because we started to discuss the points.
The only time you can give the floor to the State Party concerned is if there is a question for data or for information. It's your judgment whether that is the case this time. Thank you.
Absolutely. It's time because Algeria concretely asked me to give the floor to the State Party. Please, State Party, take the floor.
Muchas gracias, Presidenta. intentaré ser muy breve para expresar que este impacto visual de la torre es un impacto visual que se puede calificar de negativo, muy negativo, no entro en ello, pero es limitado, muy limitado. Solo se ve desde unas partes muy precisas de la ciudad. La fotografía que hemos visto ahí es una fotografía aérea, de una altura desde otro piso, desde otro edificio alto, y está mirando a la ciudad por detrás de la torre. Desde la ciudad no se ve la torre. Desde la ciudad no se ve la torre. Esto me parece que es muy importante. Está a 800 metros más allá de la zona tampón. El informe de ICOMOS tiene un error. Dice que son 600 metros, cuando son 1.600 metros los que dista la torre del Alcázar. La protección, como señaló México, alcanza a 3 monumentos en el año 1987, pero no hay referencia al impacto visual. Y quiero recordar, asimismo, que según las propias directrices operativas de UNESCO, un bien entra en esa situación de duda sobre la continuidad de su protección cuando dice el artículo, es el 172 en su letra D, cuando ese bien sea manifiesto que ha entrado en situación de deterioro hasta el punto de que haya perdido irremediablemente las características que determinaron su inclusión en la lista. No está en las características de su inclusión en la lista en el año 1987 el aspecto visual. Y calificar de irremediablemente unos bienes que están extraordinariamente conservados, cada uno de ellos individualmente, me parece un exceso.
Thank you very much. Excuse me, but it seems to me that question was absolutely different. We speak now about the point 5. When we speak that we propose to suspend immediately all works and maybe correct the project. And it seems to me for us it's very important to understand, are you ready to do it, or what, how you foreseen this? And it was a question of Algeria. Estonia.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think that the deletion of point number 5 right now is in severe contradiction with the rest of the original draft decision. And as far as we don't know what Algeria, France, and Senegal has proposed to become on the next pages, we just can't make a decision on it. Thank you.
So you would like, as I understand, to see the whole decision. Can we print the whole decision? It would be maybe easier to the country. Unfortunately, these screens are a little bit small to put the whole decision, you know, on one page. And I would like ask the Secretariat to so I would like once more to put the question to State Party. We now discuss the point 5. Are you ready to stop and change the height and maybe design of the or not?
Señora Presidenta, gracias. Decirle claramente, la legalidad vigente en España, en Andalucía y en Sevilla ha autorizado la construcción de ese proyecto. No obstante, nosotros estamos dispuestos a recibir inmediatamente a ICOMOS y con ello analizar con carácter inminente la próxima semana, ver con ellos la forma de disminuir el impacto visual del proyecto. También he de decirle que cualquier alteración del proyecto daría lugar a una indemnización que podría solicitar la entidad promotora, y de todos es conocido la situación que estamos viviendo desde el punto de vista económico. Pero, insisto, estamos dispuestos a recibir a ICOMOS la próxima semana para analizar inmediatamente la manera de disminuir el impacto visual de ese proyecto.
Thank you very much. So, Germany, you wanted to take the floor.
Yes. Sorry, with all respect to the parties concerned, this happens when you start too early without consultations, and that's a big problem, and we all know it, and we have empathy because it's difficult to solve. However, here we are discussing a paragraph, and I want it reinstated because it says to allow a dialogue to be undertaken and how the height and design of the tower might be modified. So we'll see in the dialogue what we can do and we cannot, but we cannot place a world convention with Andalusian legislation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So, I would not like to force you to vote on this because I see that many countries doesn't like maybe this procedure. But in any case, I don't see any possibility of consensus in this. Or maybe we will wait that everybody will see to the end how you prefer, member states, what we will do. I propose the vote. Who are in favor of vote, please? Raise your name, please. So I see 6 only, not the majority of the committee is in favor to vote. Thank you. Or?
Yeah, Madam Chair.
Yes.
Can we ask the legal advisor, is it not that if a member state requests a vote, we have a vote? So I would request a vote.
Please, legal advisor.
Thank you,
tell us
Madam.
about the procedure.
Thank you, Madam Chair. That is correct. The technical term is requesting a closure of the debate. It's Rule 32. There's no need to second it. You may, if someone wishes to speak against closure of the debate and moving to a vote, you may give the floor to 2 speakers to speak against closure of the debate. If there are no speakers or after those 2 speakers are finished, you then put the matter to the vote without any further discussion. Thank you.
Excuse me, I didn't understand well. If we vote, you know, paragraph by paragraph, we have to stop discussion on paragraph, as I understand, and what?
For the moment, the proposal concerns the paragraph 5 in front of you. That is the matter that is to be voted on, because you haven't reached the other paragraphs yet. So there's a request for closure of the debate. 2 speakers may speak against if they wish. If there's no one who wants to speak against, then you close the debate and move to the voting on paragraph 5. Thank you.
So, my dear colleagues, what we will do? We will follow the discussion. You will see the whole decision, or we move to the voting. I know that we don't like voting. We would like consensus, but it seems to me that if we don't see the consensus, maybe easier would be to vote. Finally, it's very democratic procedure. But sometimes it can, you know, we can go to the unlogical, maybe, decision if we vote in favor on one point and the other maybe against, so we have to be very balanced. So what I propose, now we have only 10 minutes to the you know, lunch. Just a moment, to the lunch. Maybe we make a break. After at 3 o'clock sharp we start. Maybe some countries will consult each other. Maybe you find the proper, you know, formulation for the rest of the paragraphs, and it will be better. Then would be in a hurry to do it now. Okay? So we can even, I announce this session closed, and at 3 o'clock sharp we will start again. One announcement by Secretariat.
Sorry, 1 second. We are going to distribute the text so that you can take it with you for lunch. Wait a second for the committee members. I have 2 more announcements. The budget group is meeting from 2 to 3 in the library room, and it would be a pleasure